The year is 1992. I am a little baby. Cartoon Network first came on the air, and the Sega Genesis is still going strong in the North American home video game market. Sega of America was kicking ass, eating ass, smoking nick and sucking dick.
Smoking nick and sucking dick, baby!
The original Sonic the Hedgehog had performed really well for Sega the prior holiday season, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was just around the corner for the 1992 holiday season, planting the seeds for some of the most wholesome and family-friendly fan fiction to ever be conceived by the degenerate Sonic fan base, who would be given unrestricted internet access in about a decade's time. Things were going pretty smoothly for Sega, and for the gaming industry as a whole. Both Sega and Nintendo were firing on all cylinders, putting out some of their best stuff in order to stay on top of their competition. But the good times were not to last. There was a massive dark cloud on the horizon, not just affecting Sega or Nintendo, but the entire video game industry. The Sega CD add-on for the Sega Genesis had launched in North America on October 15th of 1992, and a little-known company known as Digital Pictures was about to unleash their magnum opus upon the disgusting, filthy children of the world. The effects of this particular release, along with Mortal Kombat, forced massive changes to how video games were regulated, and how and to whom they could be sold. What piece of media could be so vile, so horrifying, and so sexy? The consequences of its release are still felt to this day.
Warning! Warning! Warning!
If you're watching this with children present, please lock them outside. They're sleeping on the lawn tonight. My son's been sleeping on the lawn since the day he fell out of his mother's heavy-set vagina, and he turned out just fine. If you're participating in No Nut November this year, perhaps consider looking away, because this footage is so titillating, so raw and powerful, it may be bust enough to fill up a My Little Pony jar. You've been warned.
Party! Music!
This is Night Trap. Released for the Sega CD in November of 1992, this awful smut played a role in changing the video game industry forever. Looking at this footage from a current day perspective, the idea that something so mild had such an impact on an entire industry seems ridiculous, but at the time of its release, this was considered quite extreme. 1 year later, in December of 1993, the United States Senate held a hearing to discuss depictions of violence and sexual content in video games. Along with Mortal Kombat, Night Trap was one of the subjects discussed at this particular hearing. Comparing this campy crap to a game like Mortal Kombat is a little dumb. Mortal Kombat features actual violent acts such as ripping your opponent's heart out and tearing their head off, pulling spinal cord along with it. In 1994, in direct response to the pressure of government oversight in regards to video game regulation, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board was formed, a self-regulatory organization that mandates that video games released in North America must be assigned a certain rating according to their content. This rating system is still in effect to this very day. What could Night Trap possibly contain to justify such a response? Let's take a look at this piece of crap and find out. The game opens with a short opening cutscene explaining to the player the current situation. Tom Selleck tells you that 5 teenage girls have gone missing while staying at the Diddy estate. The owners refuse to let the police investigate their home, causing Tom to get suspicious. The player is shown a picture of the team's inside agent, named Kimberly Kelly Med, who is going undercover with a group of other girls to see if she can get to the bottom of this stupid mystery.
We have complete control of the cameras and the traps.
But who operates that?
They do.
And who's that?
I'm not exactly certain.
After the cutscene, the player is presented with the game's UI, which features a big main display, 8 little camera displays on the bottom left, a timer, an access code indicator, and a danger indicator. The main goal of the game is to keep an eye on each of the cameras and employ traps on any dangers that may lurk inside the Diddy estate, while avoiding trapping any of your harem. You can click on any camera at any time. Doing so allows you to view the current feed, listen to conversations, and eventually, you'll encounter what this game tries to pass as a threat. This little homunculus is an augur. They're supposed to be some kind of vampire.
Don't come to my house or else I'll suck your dick.
Who's in cahoots with the Diddy estate to capture young women and use their bad dragon to drain them of their blood. Anytime you see one of these pathetic goblins shambling around, dicks swinging between their ample ass cheeks, you must look for an opportunity to spring a trap on them, and I guess this brutally murders them. The little danger indicator just below the timer will let you know when you're supposed to set a trap. Green means safe, yellow means be cautious. Once it turns red, you push a button and
Gotcha, bitch!
Listening in on the various conversations that take place throughout the estate is essential for your success, because the access code changes several times throughout the game. Without the proper access code color set, traps will not respond to your input.
Alright, I'll go downstairs and reset the access code to green.
Come on, Studley, we better change that code.
How about red?
Sure.
To red.
Don't worry, Mom. It's all in the fingers.
Gross. There are several possible endings, which changes depending on how many of these things you trap, and how many of your harem are left by the end of the game. A few of the augurs prance around in the early game, but around the 2-minute mark is when your harem arrives. From this point on, you need to keep a close eye, open your ears, and ready those thick, girthy fingers. The augurs will wander around the house, and periodically encounter some of the guests, at which point it's up to you to spring traps to save them hoes. This kid just brutally murders a guy. Kelly is also aware that you're watching, and will speak directly to you occasionally.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Over the course of about 30 minutes, you'll have to trap 100 bad guys in order to save everyone.
It's going up your butt.
And you need to keep your greasy eyes peeled in order to catch every opportunity to trap an augur. At about the 20-minute mark, the actual team enters the estate. I don't know why they didn't come in at the very beginning, instead relying on a child to defeat actual mythical beings with Scooby-Doo-esque contraptions. If you manage to survive the night at Diddy's intact, you're rewarded with one of several different endings, ranging from about 5 to 10 distinct outcomes. I couldn't find a solid number on the exact amount of endings. The final opportunity to catch one of these predators comes when this ratchet bitch is chasing Kelly, allowing you to finally catch her and end this dumb game forever. So why was this considered so controversial? Probably scenes like this, where the bad dragon is wrapped around this woman's neck. The developers stated they tried to make the device as ridiculous looking as possible, so impressionable players don't think it's actually something that exists. This exact thing has happened to several different bits of pop culture throughout the years. It happened to Black Sabbath, gangster rap,
This here's a story about some shit that happened to me today.
Dungeons and Dragons, Pokemon, and a whole bunch of other benign things that were popular with kids and young adults at some point. It's a bunch of out-of-touch old people clutching their pearls at the thought that their little Jimmy might grow up to be a menace to society, like me. If these old gushing grannies were still around today, I would love to hear their opinion on how far video games have pushed the envelope since Night Trap came out. They'd probably have to change all the plastic covers on their furniture.
This is cum.
Bye.